Something magic happens every time you go. Make the magic happen. Make the magic happen.
Heyo, it's the Orioles Spastics.
Spastics.
The one and only Orioles baseball / Arrested Development fan podcast. I'll be your host again this evening, Dean Eastlake, and I am joined, as always, by Charlie Hoppus.
Dude, when is somebody else going to be host?
As well as Chris Knightsey.
Heyo!
That was perfect. You can host next time. You got it.
No, I don't know. I didn't say us. I don't want any of us to host.
No,
I'm
we
thinking
need
maybe
a guest host.
Kermit the Frog. Somebody with some real hosting experience. Ryan Seacrest.
I feel we're on
Arthur
episode
Bailey.
13. Oh yeah, weren't we supposed to dedicate this to Manny?
Manny who?
Manny Gonzalez.
And
Manny McAdoo.
The mere fact you call him.
McAdoo.
I love that.
McAdoo.
McAdoo. Well, we thank all of you for your Bevy Award responses. We had 2 categories out there. One was frighteningly similar to one of the Baltimoreans awards.
We stole it from the Baltimoreans by mistake.
Sorry about that. It wasn't a mistake. We have a problem coming up with our own content. So thank you to Baltimoreans for lending.
The worst part is I definitely heard their episode.
No.
I don't know how.
We all did, didn't you, Chris? Didn't you listen in on that one?
No, missed that one.
Well, anyway, thanks for responding. We got some Facebooks, we got some tweets, we got some emails. So
We did get some
good.
Facebooks.
And so when that comes out Thursday, is that what Bird's Eye View is doing? Is that true, Chris? Can you confirm?
Yeah, I must have missed that tweet.
We'll definitely put it up whenever it's up. I think it's sometime this week. They said during the All-Star break.
Yeah, it should be this week. So that's good. Let's talk about what's going on lately. Are you guys stateside?
We've been stateside the whole time.
So Chris was in San Fran, I was in Memphis, and the Orioles went on something of a hot tear that at one point led #StayInMemphis to be trending on several of my friends' news feeds. Which is, I mean, I guess it's good that the show's getting some acknowledgement, but it was a little bit sad that everyone wanted me to stay in Memphis so badly.
Your friends had nothing to do with this podcast, though. They were just like, yeah, stay away.
They didn't realize what it was about.
Yeah, I got at least one tweet that was just like, don't come home. Oh,
when you said you were going to San Fran, Chris, I thought you were just joking. You actually went to San Francisco?
I was there, man. I had a wedding to go to.
Oh.
Did some sightseeing.
You're always going to weddings.
Always going to weddings. Been to like 2, so.
Always the bridesmaid, and never the groom.
Yeah, we went on a little special tear. When they lost, what happened? Were you guys in transit? Why did they lose?
I was on Saturday. Oh, because I was dancing too hard. That was Saturday night. I was dancing too hard.
I was making some sort of bad walking in Memphis puns. So that's probably what I was doing while they were winning or losing. I mean,
hey, so I don't understand the reference. Can you just sing the song for me? I assume it's a song?
Yes.
Right.
Well, first off, it's about somebody who puts on his blue suede shoes and flies into Memphis. Blue suede
guy
shoes.
That sings about blue suede shoes? That one famous guy?
No, but that guy.
Different guy.
That guy sings about blue suede shoes based on a different trip to Memphis. Also, that guy's from Memphis. I forget his name now. Very famous guy. Recorded at the same studio as Elvis. We went and saw it. It was awesome. It was a good trip. Also, I met someone down there that was friends of my sister and her husband, and he listens to our podcast despite not being an Orioles fan and thinks that we're very funny.
Oh, that's good.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
So, you know how, the Giants have these similar colors to the Orioles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the whole time in San Francisco, I kept seeing hats that were orange and black, like an orange lid and a black hat. And every single time I was confused as to why there were so many Orioles fans in San Francisco.
Well, I scouted out the Memphis Redbirds, the
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Cardinals AAA team. So, whenever they...
Yeah.
You guys are like right above the dugout, right?
Yeah, well, it was a nice seat.
Minor league, man.
$10.
Yep.
$10 front row seat and a 16-ounce PBR.
For $10?
For $10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they do it right in
Dang.
Memphis. They do it right.
Who are they affiliate of?
The Cardinals, weren't you listening?
No, I pulled a Chris. I was looking for this. This is what I have to say to you guys.
I would have stayed if I could.
Go.
And I loved
66
Memphis.
66 degrees every day in San Francisco. No rain.
It's so hot now.
It was
I know.
100 degrees every day in Memphis, but there was
The grass.
barbecue and catfish, and there was the best fried chicken ever. It was featured on the Food Channel 3 different times, called Gus's.
Royal Farms?
No. Royal Farms is second best.
How are we tying all this back to Arrested Development? This is our Arrested Development spot.
Go away.
What's
Go away.
Yeah, what's
Hey,
happening?
Wait,
to us?
is this something that we do? We're supposed to talk about Arrested Development? Their structure?
This is not in the Google Doc.
All I know is that usually you just call me and then we start talking. And then after a certain amount of time you say, okay, that's the end of the show.
Stop talking.
And then I go
Well,
on with my life.
today's a little different. We have kind of a special treat,
Special treat.
tonight.
Just all-
Tonight being the kickoff of the All-Star festivities. We'll talk All-Stars a little bit later at the end of the show, so don't worry. But we'll touch on our latest All-Star, Chris Tillman, a late ad.
I thought you were going to say me for just getting traded, but
We have traded Chris. Chris is no longer going to be podcasting with us. We have traded him to, is it the OBP podcast?
Yes, the newly restructured, the artist formerly known as PTY.
Charlie taking the Dan Duquette role. What did we get in return for?
Well, it's not
Chris?
finalized, but people were making some beautiful offers on both sides.
Yeah.
We felt like the prettiest girl at the dance.
I like the prettiest girl at the dance. Chris, basically the guy we're trying to trade for, tried to invoke a no-trade clause towards the end of it, which was upsetting because he said that he started to feel cheap and used. And then I told him he didn't feel cheap and used until he's been a part of this podcast. And then he wanted to get traded after that. Also, we unfortunately did not hold on to animation rights with Chris, so
what?
hopefully that doesn't come back and bite us in the eye.
Uh-oh, look out.
Ash.
Well, at least I'm moving to a podcast that seems to have some kind of income with apparel. At least I see apparel attached to their name. So
There.
If you would like to make a large donation
quite
to the
good.
Oral Spastics, we'll do something with it.
moving on up.
So Chris Tillman is an all-star. Do you think he'll actually pitch any tonight, or not tonight? When is it? Tomorrow? When is the all-star game?
It's tomorrow night. It's when
Tomorrow.
I don't know when
Okay.
this podcast will land, but
What about the skills competition? Where
Wait, is there really a skills competition?
there's an obstacle course, and at
You
the
have
end
to
they
weave
hit,
the bat through the. I don't even know.
they should do it like the NBA
That would be
has
great
like
because you could see
the dribble.
all of the fat baseball players having to do with things that they don't have to run, 90 feet.
We should come up with that. You have to field a ground ball and then run down, shag a fly, and then bunt, and run around the bases, and then try to hit a home run. That could be pretty fun.
Prince Fielder.
dude, Cece would actually be pretty good at that. The big man.
Or it could be what's it called when you tag each other?
Relay
and then
race?
They go. That's the one.
Dude, White Lightning would be awesome at that.
Oh, yeah. Well, White Lightning. Last I saw of him, he was not Mr. McClutch. He was Mr. McWhiff. But now is the time to celebrate. We can't be down on our team. And this is All-Star Weekend, and we have quite a few All-Stars. But with Chris Tillman, Tillman, do we even want him to pitch? If he blows out his arm,
So this is my theory.
I'm sorry.
My theory.
Can we just get over the fact that Chris Tillman is in the All-Star game?
Listen,
we're over it.
listen. We received some negative tweets for being cynical about Chris
What?
Tillman being in
Ew,
the,
Chris Tillman.
we also received some cynical or some angry tweets from Nolan Reimold's cousin because of a negative tweet that we sent about Nolan Reimold.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Getting
That
noticed.
must have been-
Yes,
Nice. Good.
yes, we did. It was when Flaherty pinch hit for him. I said that Nolan Rymel was going to announce his retirement after the game.
Oh yeah, didn't he?
Wait, what was the response? Did you retweet it? Because you should have.
No, I didn't.
Uh,
So what's your theory? What's your theory?
So I think that Jim Leland, he could have selected so many actual viable All-Star pitchers, not least of which Kuroda from the Yankees, but instead he picked Chris Tillman. I think that he thinks that the Orioles could be one of their competition for a wild card spot or in the playoffs down the road.
When did he figure that out? When we crushed them in every series we played
I
them
think
this year?
that's how he
So,
knew that we'd
what's
be.
gonna happen-
So what he's going to do is he's going to take our best pitcher, who's like the fourth best pitcher on his team, and he's going to pitch him after. He's going to pitch him the second,
Six innings.
second through the ninth innings.
No. Well, no. He's gonna hope that the game goes into extras.
He's going to have him catch from the
He's
second.
going
to
to
the
somehow
ninth
figure out a way to. Actually, Chris Tillman will be the last pitcher available. He'll put him in, and then he'll have to pitch the rest of the game.
Yeah, and then I'll bring in Chris Davis.
Chris Davis.
Wait, does it go into extra innings anymore?
Well,
Is that figured
not
out?
since 2005 or 2002 or something? 2000.
That's how closely
That's
I
when
follow the
Bud Selig-
All-Star game.
Yeah,
last
after
couple
the
years.
11th inning.
I thought that they just changed the. It
Maybe
does
they-
go into extra innings. They just
Okay.
changed
Well,
the
it's
roster
110
limit.
too.
Yeah. I don't know, but Chris Tillman,
So-
not an ace. Also, what are we going to do with our rotation after the break? We've got.
We have tiers. We have 3 tiers.
Three
So,
tiers.
This is what I was hashing out. We've got Tillman,
Why does it-
Chen,
why-
and Gonzalez. They're like definitely in our rotation.
Tier
if they're
1.
healthy, and Gonzo doesn't catch up with his peripherals. So far that hasn't happened.
I don't know. His peripherals are exactly the same as last year at this time.
Which he didn't pitch to them then either, which was
Right.
awesome.
So he's pulling a Guthrie.
He's just going to do that from
Pitching
now on.
above what he's supposed to.
So maybe he's just secretly good, and math can't explain it. Math and science can't explain his success. So that's 3 people. Then we've got
About
Hamill and Feldman. Hamill should be good, but hasn't been good. Feldman should be pretty solidly
Feldman,
mediocre / sometimes. Yeah, right. Okay starts. And then we've got just a group of ranging talents from Zach Britton, Kevin Guzman, Steve Johnson. Is it
Can you just
Josh?
skip-
Is it Josh?
Can you
Yeah.
just skip that?
Yes, Josh.
Why is that even
why is-
included? Josh
And-
Stinson and
Is
talent.
that called- is where
You
is
did
he
use-
now?
you did-
He was called
You
up.
did use talent to describe this next tier.
And sweaty
A range
Freddie
of
Garcia.
talent.
I said a varying
range.
talent. A varying talent.
Well,
He
one of
has-
them's not baseball.
He has no talent, but he's part of the list of people that could pitch. And in our bullpen, we have five relievers that are pretty much locked in unless they get hurt.
All right, we're in for a treat here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear that list, Charlie.
We got Jim Johnson, Darren O'Day, Tommy Hunter, Troy Patton, Brian Mattis. Then we've got a Rule 5 who's probably going to keep that 6th spot, and that's
Uh-huh.
TJ McFarland.
And the new
Well,
call
we've
up.
got a 7th spot. The 7th spot is currently occupied by our former AAA closer, who is pitching fantastically down in AAA, and his name is Jario Asensio.
Ugh.
I don't know
Dario-
what it is, but I
Jario Asensio?
think gyro sounds better.
Gyro Asensio. It's
Also,
actually pronounced. It's
I'm
pronounced.
kind of
Kilo.
disappointed on how actually a name that sounded.
I didn't realize we had two pitchers that have similar first names.
Well, we don't anymore because Jurgens is
That's true. He was designated.
DFA. So that's our bullpen right now. That's our rotation right now. But we've got 5 potential major leaguers just sort of hanging out. One's one of our top prospects. One was successful last year. One pitched. He I think has the 5th most starts on the team right now.
Don't forget about Dylan Bundy.
One's Josh Stinson,
Who
and one's Zach Britton, who's been pitching pretty well for us with the occasional hiccup. What are we doing after the break? Are we okay with that top 5? Tillman, Shen, Gonzo, Hamill, Feldman?
I'm okay. Yeah.
Well, the question is, do they actually do a 5-man rotation, or do they really go to a 6-7-man rotation?
I mean, so far, Tillman, Chen was really great his last start. Gonzo's been great. Hamill has not been, and Feldman's been good for 2 out of 3. So, I mean, if Hamill needs to go to the bullpen for a little bit, Gossman's been actually doing really well out of the bullpen, except for his last appearance. But before that, he had gone like 3 appearances without giving up a run from the bullpen, including one that was 4 1/3.
Yeah, that was cleaning up after McFarland.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm okay. Like it seems like he's getting the confidence, I guess, the experience. So maybe he'll be able to. And also, they're not using. I mean, they're not racking up the innings on him right now by coming out of the bullpen like that. So it seems almost like that might be one of their plans, is to see if he can, be somewhat successful out of the bullpen, limit his innings, and then if he's still having success, they can throw him into the rotation if one of those 5 is not doing very well, like Hamill right now.
Speaking of innings, I feel like Tommy Hunter pitches every single night.
Tommy, every game Hunter.
But now that I look at it, he's only pitched 14 innings. No, that's the last. Okay, in the last 30 days, he's pitched 14 innings.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Overall, he's like 48 or something. Let's see, he is at 52 innings in the first half. Well, more than the first half, I guess.
Yeah, well,
but still,
he used to be a starter. Hopefully that. I know that.
But I feel like it's not.
I know it's not the
every
same.
day innings.
It's not right.
Yeah, it's not like
it's not 6-7 innings.
Yeah, he's not like a
days
long
break.
reliever or anything coming in. He's pitching 1 inning, maybe 2 sometimes.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not the same, but it's also not like we have Darren O'Day pitching that many innings.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Bullpen
are we going? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm done. I just said the bullpen still looks good.
Speaking of that tweet that we got brandished for a little bit, Charlie, Nolan Reimold, what are we doing? What are we doing with him?
Well, in his defense, he's only had 128 at-bats, and that's a really, really small sample size. But he has been miserable and has basically had about 5 good swings in those 128 at-bats. He's had 5 home runs, and his OPS is 585, which is atrocious. And
not good.
It seems like we've got internal options that are more successful than that. Danny Valencia was doing Mr. F.
What?
Has been on a huge tear. I think that's
it's a little quick on the gun there.
Mr. F has been on a huge tear. It wouldn't hurt to play him against right-handers, and Danny Valencia was tearing up left-handers. He's in AAA now. And we've got Roberts that we can incorporate, and that's without Wilson Bettamy and without Chris Dickerson. All of these people are
on a huge tear. That's all you have to say about Ryan Flaherty?
Look, I have
the best hitter on our team.
I've preached the good news about Ryan Flaherty. I'm not impressed. This is just what I always thought.
This is what you expected from him.
I always knew he would turn into Joe Morgan.
He's doubling up the OPS at Reimold is out right now. Double.
Wait, what?
Double. He's got double. Double the OPS.
What are you talking about?
As Reimold.
Not for the season.
Yeah.
For the last 30 days. He's batting 372.
It's like there's no way.
The man's machine.
Mr. F.
Yeah.
He can't be stopped.
He's serviceable right now.
Mr. F.
Mr. F.
It doesn't matter if he's pinch hitting, if he's starting.
He's saying ong yong to those off-speed pitches now.
All I know is my boy Danny Valencia is ready to come up and pick up where he left off.
Danny Valencia.
Actually,
Flaherty's going to catch him in year-long batting average here. He's next on the list. Flaherty's just climbing the ranks. Valencia's up next.
Charlie mentioned his super low OPS below 600, but a big thing that's killing me right now is he just hasn't walked at all. He's channeling his inner Adam Jones. Although to Adam Jones' credit,
not lately.
Right, to Adam Jones' credit, he has started walking like 3 or 4 times.
What the heck is up with that?
But his last 10, 20 games, actually 16, 17 games, he's gone without a walk, and that includes that pre-DL stint and after the DL stint. So he's just not walking at all. And usually he's a guy that sees a lot of pitches, gets on base, or at least can get on base, but he hasn't done that either, along with not doing anything as far as hitting for power.
And his at-bats just look bad.
Well, I haven't had a chance.
He does not look good.
I haven't actually seen him.
He's somebody that I've always rooted for. I really like Nolan Reimold. He's somebody that, when the Orioles were bad, he was one of those people that we could point to and say, hey, they could be good sometime. Nolan Reimold. He has 25, 30 home run power.
Right. Another question.
15 games he played.
So you guys have kind of watched the games. Has he had any in-ground or Infield hits at all?
Yes.
In-ground. Infield hits in any of those at bats? Because that's a thing that he did a lot last year, I think. And he's one of the quickest down the line.
I can't really remember
He needs to get hits before we decipher if they're infield hits or not. So
I can't remember any, Chris, not offhand.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I kind of expected him to at least be able to do. I don't know if, purely speculating, I don't know if he's fully recovered from, what was it, a hamstring? Whatever he was on the DL for last.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. He's always had that speed down the first baseline.
And he did have the 3-home run jack against Texas.
Yep.
It was timely, but it's really been that at bat. Yep. That's it.
So, I don't know. I'd say give him another 10 games after the All-Star break. If he's still where he's at before the All-Star break, then cut your ties.
Speaking of cutting ties, let's not cut ties with Chris Davis.
Smooth
segue. Smooth. 4 home runs in his last 4. He ends the first half like he began the first half with 4 home runs in his first 4 games. The man's a machine.
Man, that segue was as smooth as Job's segue over a construction site.
As smooth as Chris Davis' home run swing.
That's a great image.
Yeah. Well, I love it when he runs over the flower at the very end. Yeah, we've got Chris Davis, Adam Jones, Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy, and Chris Tillman in the All-Star game. That's really exciting. Really excited to watch this. But we've got the Home Run Derby coming up in here in just a few minutes, and we have quite the rest of the show planned for you guys. First off, while we're watching the Home Run Derby, just a few notes, because I think Chris Davis is going to take aim at a couple of these records tonight.
Ooh.
Most home runs in a Home Run Derby, 41 by Bobby Abreu, actually, in 2005.
I think I remember watching that Home Run Derby. That was
41.
It was really weird. 28 in a round, of course, Josh Hamilton back in 08. Prince Fielder is actually gunning for a tie with Ken Griffey Jr. in the all-time Home Run Derby wins list with his third if he wins tonight. So that's pretty exciting. The Home Run Derby, though, is generally really, really boring. I've always thought that what we should do for the Home Run Derby is we should have maybe 2 players, or if you wanted to make it a tournament, make it like an all-day thing, but have 2...
Oh, like a relay race.
Not like a relay race. Have 2 players go head-to-head and play full-on baseball. Have 3 outs, hit as many home runs as you can, then the next guy comes up as many as you can. 9 innings. Whoever has the most at the end of 9 innings wins. It'd be
so they're not actually fielding the balls.
No. I mean, you just have it'd be pretty quick. It would be entertaining. There'd be the back and forth of baseball. That's one of the most exciting parts of baseball is there's the back and forth. There's no ebb and flow in the Home Run Derby. If you hit
the way that's like with the rounds, like Abreu, did he even win? He hit like 41 in the first round, and then he hit like 2 in the next round. And I was like, well, there's that.
No, that's Hamilton. Abreu hit 41 in his Home Run Derby.
Okay, total. Gotcha.
Although, did he win?
But yeah, Hamilton, he didn't win that. It was like such a stinker. It was like, well, that was fun, but doesn't mean much.
Yeah. No,
I guess it's kind of like playoffs.
Well, because somebody can hit 18 home runs and be like, oh, we're all set. And then the next person hits 19 home runs, and the other person maybe could have kept going or whatever. It's just weird. It's weird. If there was the back and forth of baseball would be more exciting. I wish they'd do it something like that.
I think we should change out the baseball with a wiffle ball.
I would watch that. There's ways to make this exciting.
What's that ball that like the BSR podcast is always talking about? It's like some super ball that like you can hit it like super super far. Have you guys heard them talking about that?
People.
I must have missed that podcast.
Chris,
that may kill people. People may die.
Speaking of people may die, have we revealed what we're really doing yet for this Home Run Derby?
This is the best way that we can spice up the Home Run Derby, since there's no back and forth. It's boring. We got Chris Davis, but let's spice it up.
I don't know. I think the way we could spice up is just going on Twitter and seeing how many steroids tweets there are about Chris Davis.
Too soon.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I don't know. It seemed like it fit.
Oh man, he deleted his Twitter account.
He did
because
he tweeted like earlier today.
He tweeted goodbye.
Did he tweet a Bible verse?
Oh,
it wasn't a Bible verse.
It was.
Yeah, I saw a Bible verse.
He tweeted about how you should keep reading Bible verses even though he's leaving Twitter. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to play SB Nation, which is a fantastic blog site, sports blog site. Yep. They have a drinking game posted. We've posted it on our Facebook and Twitter. Hopefully you found it already. but we'll post it again after our podcast so you can see the terrible things that we do. And we're going to participate in this drinking game, watch Chris Davis hopefully win the home run derby, and then we're going to come back and do a recap after the drinking game. We may...
Depending on if we're still awake.
Or alive. Here's some of these. Every time that Chris Berman says he hit that 1-2 bracket, local township, city, or borough, finish your drink. We're gonna die.
I love anything with Chris Berman.
Anytime that Chris Berman takes a nickname for a batter that includes a pun, take 2 drinks.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited to listen to Chris Berman.
Every time a batter makes a big show of how impressed they are by another batter, take a drink. Every time a small child is shown dangerously close to live baseballs, take a drink.
So you can see where this is going. We encourage you. Well, we'll hear this afterwards. But we still encourage you.
The DVR.
Yeah, we just encourage you in general. That's all.
If Chris Berman makes a comment that sounds vaguely racist, while Ulinis Cespedes is at bat, tug your collar and take a drink.
Tug your collar. Yeah. Well, we're gonna go tug our collars right now. You'll hear our voices probably a little bit more clearer because we'll be, clear-headed and pumped after Chris Davis home run derby win,
record win.
So, ladies and gents, we will see you
on the other side.
Ooh. Drink responsibly.
I think back to my days in school. Now I see I was such a fool. Yellow is just another shade of blue. We're floating along in a yellow boat. We're making a stand in a yellow boat. A yellow boat. A yellow boat. We're floating along in a yellow boat. A yellow boat.
All right, and we are back. The home run derby is complete. Our Bows and Jim Palmers are complete. Berman kept us busy.
God. Chris didn't survive it, man. No. Chris didn't make it through. We lost Chris.
We lost one along the way. It was good, though. Liz and I were video Skyping with him and Dana, and it was good for a while, but Dana fell off pretty quickly, the Yankee fan girlfriend, and then Chris, followed suit.
You gotta expect the Yankee fan to not be able to keep up.
Well, Cano was out early. You knew Cano just didn't have it.
Right.
He hit the least amount of home runs out of everyone. Take that, Yankee fans.
Oh my God! That game just got me so drunk. It's just for some people that may not realize some of the rules that we had to play by. Here are some of the ones that, well, I don't know, Dean. What are some of the ones that you felt hit you the hardest?
So the back Berman call. He had 19 of those every time. Every fifth time he did a back. Although when we started playing, we misread the rules, so we thought every fifth time we heard the word back, we were supposed to drink. So we were heavy at the beginning and kind of tapered off at the end. Also, every time a tween whiffed on a can of corn.
Oh my God!
There were so many of those.
Yeah, that was the most dangerous one. I think is that you couldn't do anything. Like
you were powerless to stop it.
It was every fly ball was like, oh sweet Jesus, just catch it! Come on, just catch it.
But I think at the end, the one that really hit us, which you touched on, was, of course, I thought you were gonna finish. The one that you touched on.
Well, there's a couple. The problem is, and I think it's still like hitting me even now. Right at the end, like it was already bad. But to make matters way worse, Chris Berman at the very end, there's a rule that says every time Chris Berman says he hit that one too, local township, city, or borough, finish your drink. Well,
there's some back-to-backers.
He had 2 for Cespedes back-to-back, which I hadn't even finished remaking a drink, and then I had to finish an entire drink. Then Dean, I assume that you saw this. If any batter flips his bat after hitting a home run, finish your drink and run around your house or apartment high-fiving people. Imaginary people count. I thought
The
we got out of
imaginary
it.
people. That was the one.
I thought that we got out of it without having to deal with it. But then at the very, very end, as they were like after Adam Jones presented him with the WWE belt and everything was good, they were going to commercial and they showed a slow-mo of Cespedes hitting the game winner, and he flipped his bat.
Oh, no way. I didn't see that.
Well, you need to finish a drink right now.
All right, talk to the people. I'll be back.
Well, Dean is abandoning. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Dude, are you all right? We'll assume he's all right. Yeah, it was just a mess. Some of the main problems that we had was another big one was every time a co-host laughs at a joke that isn't funny, take a drink. Ugh. Chris Berman and Nomar are just a god awful team. Nothing good about that. And
All right.
I was just saying how horrible Nomar and Berman were as a broadcasting group. And definitely the best part is when Jones came in and started talking about food with Berman. And Berman, he was so excited. He was more excited than some of those upper deck shots. He was like, whoa, tell me more about these hot dogs. Made a good mustard pun. He was all over that.
And I think what you said was pretty. Sorry, I gotta catch my breath. What you said was pretty applicable. I think Nomar was kind of like trying to shoo Adam off the set because they were afraid that like Berman was eyeing him for food. He's like, all right, well, this is great.
Jones and Berman were definitely going to eat Nomar.
Yeah.
Just slather some ketchup on him, and Nomar's got some meat on him nowadays, although not as much meat as Schilling or Piazza.
Man, Schilling looks old.
Dude, Piazza, I saw somebody say that it looked like Piazza looked like Jamie Wright with a Jerry curl, or Jamie Carroll, I mean, with a Jerry curl.
I think he looked like
not a good look.
like Lindsay Bluth in the opening scene where you're like, what is going on? Why does she look so weird? Like she has plastic surgery or a wig? Yeah, it was weird. All right, well, let's get to. I mean, Davis made it to the second round. I mean, that's really all maybe that we could have hoped for. But what are your initial thoughts? Were you happy with the performance? Disappointed? What did you think of Crush?
I thought a lot of people were freaking out with somewhat legitimate concerns about
the season-ending injury.
No, not about the season-ending injury. Unfortunately, I'm watching in the background the Celebrity All-Star Game, which is rerunning now. And Frank Thomas is pitching to that fat guy from King of Queens.
I mean, the Big Hurt is pitching? Is
Yes.
that they don't have like pitchers pitch?
No. Rolly Fingers is playing first base.
Okay.
We
got to focus
just
now.
a complete show. Mike. Speaking of Mike Piazza, he's hitting in the Celebrity Game right now.
But we weren't.
He just hit it out of the park. He hit a homer in the Celebrity Game.
We were speaking of Chris Davis.
Chris Davis, who's on the Baltimore Orioles, which is this is a podcast related to that.
Well, at one point, I was cheering loudly for the person who was hitting, and Liz turns to me and goes, whose team is he on?
Oh, no.
I was so upset for her.
No, Liz.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people were worried about Chris Davis maybe losing his stroke in the home run derby. That's happened to other people, or at least it's been hypothesized that that's happened to other people. Man, you don't have to worry about that. He was hitting opposite field homers. He was swinging at pitches in the dirt. At one point, it looked like he decided to foul one off to protect the plate.
Well, he did. He choked up because he thought he had 2 strikes on him, and he just put it in play.
Just hit a laser double the opposite way against the shift. But
looking at his spray chart was awesome because it was definitely all corners of the field, and like David Wright's spray chart was maybe within 30-foot tiny little pocket.
Well, most of them were. That's how home run derbies work. You try to power up and just juice it down the line, and man, he hit just like his spray chart for the season. So I don't think we have to worry about Chris Davis screwing up his swing. We do sort of have to worry about the fact that he ripped his flesh off.
It was terrible to see. There was blood everywhere. It was brutal.
A child got gore sprayed all over his face. He just ripped open a blood blister. He says it happens to him every year. I was reading already on Twitter, although I had to read it like 6 times because of Chris Berman's backs.
Wait, reading it on Twitter, is that like a reputable source we go to now? Is that
It was
legit?
an Orioles beat writer.
Remember when we had to list sources for like middle school papers and there was like first sources and secondary sources? Is
Yeah.
that a thing? What would Twitter be?
Well, here's the thing. We are now members of the fake Baltimore media.
All right.
So now we're people that we're now a source that people might cite, and that's terrifying because, well, we're drunk and we didn't do any research. We're just spouting off baseless opinion and just totally gratuitous podcast that references a show that was off the air for a long time and now it's back on the air and everyone loves it.
And they're looking for more episodes with Netflix. Maybe we should save that for maybe next week.
I want to talk about it now.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it next week.
Well, what did you think about Chris Davis? What do you think about Chris? What do we think about Inar Diaz, his pitcher?
Yeah, he didn't really get a lot of good pitches. Like you said, Chris was definitely swinging at things outside of the strike zone. I don't know if it was like Adam Jones was watching him on the sideline, so I was wondering if Adam Jones was like, "You got to swing at those. You got to swing at those," because he wasn't swinging at first. And then Harper was like very, very patient, annoyingly so. I think he just likes the camera, so he just took as many pitches as possible. What I liked was that he stayed with his swing. You could tell that in particular Prince Fielder and Bryce Harper, like their swings were so violent. And like you could tell they were like swinging a different way, and Crush was just like, that kind of nice smooth swing. The pitch just wasn't coming in fast enough for it to go out the same way. But I don't know. I don't feel like he really stressed it or he like tried to change things. He was just out there.
There was definitely some comments on how casual he was swinging. He had one to dead center that was just like yawn off the truck.
Yeah, I got a truck shot. That was good.
Yeah, I thought it was successful. He put on a good show. Didn't win, but also looked like his swing stayed intact. All was good. How about Bryce Harper's dad throwing him cut fastballs?
Yeah, that was interesting.
He hit him with a pitch. He
grew up on cut fastballs, I guess. It's pretty interesting.
I don't know if I love or hate Bryce Harper. I know it's vogue for.
I don't like him at all.
I know. Well, you don't like the Nationals, but I'm one of the few that hasn't. I'm a Ravens sympathizer and a Nationals sympathizer. They're in the other conference. They're in the other league. It's okay. They're not. We don't play against them. It's cool. I don't have to root for them, but
remember we do play against them.
Yeah, but not very often. And the Orioles and the Redskins.
The Masson Cup, man. It's the second most desirable.
So I have nothing to be upset about.
Ugh, gosh. I don't know what's going to happen once football season starts and all the other Baltimore podcasts are talking about the Ravens.
We're talking about the Skins. We're definitely losing listeners by talking about this. We're also losing listeners for being drunk. And also, the first part of our podcast sucked, too. This is going to be our worst podcast ever.
But we won Twitter. They said so.
We were told by somebody that we won Twitter, but they were probably drunk too. They had to be if they made it through the whole home run derby. No one makes it through the whole home run derby sober. It's nightmarish. It's so boring.
OBP Apparel has an actual reputation that they need to uphold. So what they say has to have some kind of.
They just traded
something behind it.
They just traded one of their podcasters to us for. Wait, what did they say? A banana stand and a Segway.
And a Segway. The sad thing is Chris will never hear this audio. He's asleep right now having sweet dreams, but he'll never go back and listen.
Let's trade Chris.
He tried.
They tried. They didn't even want him. They want fictional items instead.
Well, I think we've done our damage here tonight. What do we want to close with anything?
Well, clothing thoughts, right?
Clothing thoughts. Charlie, send us off with a clothing thought.
I want to hear yours first.
Okay. My clothing thought is, again, I'll stay with the theme of as little clothing as possible. I, right now, am in my basement because it's the coolest place in my house. Upstairs, it is a sweltering 87 degrees because my air conditioning has decided to not work on a day where the heat index was over 100 degrees.
Dang.
So I'd say just, get out there with your undershirt and your boxer briefs. I just ran around the house high-fiving invisible people, and my neighbors didn't seem to care. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Did you finish your drink?
I have a tiny little bit left.
You
on
have to
this
finish
one.
it. That's what the rules are. That's
Oh, wait,
what
I
happens.
finish it and then run around?
Yeah, Cespedes' bat flip was like the nail in the coffin for me. That's why, as even I'm talking, I'm losing it
All right,
more.
right there. Last sip.
Nice. Good.
Nice. All right, send us off.
Well, I would say that in honor of Protect This Yard changing their name to OBP Apparel,
Mm.
that's a great organization. They're local. They're guys that don't do that as their full-time job, but they're super professional, which we don't know too much about, but we've heard tell about being professional. And I don't know, they're good guys. They do great things, and I want to see them succeed. So they're getting up a new website. We'll be sure to retweet whenever they have their new website posted, which I think they said next weekend. But really exciting times for them to have a chance to rebrand and, yeah, get all sorts of exciting things going for them.
Excellent. And there's a banner on the side of SB Nation drinking game right now that says, Suits, new season tomorrow at 10 Central Time on USA.
That's a TV show. That's not Clothing Thought. Oh, one more Clothing Thought, though.
Suits, though.
Really... Soups?
Suits.
Bees? The other thing that I really wanted to mention is I really like that the white panel was on the All-Star hats.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was getting so much crap even though we won the jersey competition. Whatever.
White panel looks nice. I will say the hats kind of looked a little bit like Expo hats, which is, what are you going to do?
And I don't like that the colors switched. Like, traditionally, the American League is like the reddish tint, and the National League is bluish, and they were switched. I didn't like that.
That's why they call them the LOL Mets.
Yeah, but even though I like blue better, but I like the American League better. I don't know.
I'll be honest, I'm
torn
disappointed
inside.
I haven't seen any Jesse Orosco during any of these festivities yet. He's one of the all-time Mets greats. He's my favorite Oriole of all time, maybe. He is tonight, that's for sure.
He's one of my favorite baseball cards.
They just showed a clip of him throwing his glove into the air and it never coming down. As I was saying that, they just showed that.
So, I wish I was upstairs. I can hear it playing. So I'm going to go get to it.
Jesse Orosco. The man.
And that'll close us out. Another semi-successful episode of the Oral Spastics.
Another completed episode. Unfortunately, we did not listen to our own advice that you close each podcast with. We drank terribly irresponsibly.
Well, we're within the confines of our own home, and we drank beverages appropriate for our ages.
That's true. That's true. So, did you do Natty Bo this whole time?
Yeah, I was Natty Bo. I did the special order. Went to the brew store not brew store. That's usually the home brew store. I went to the local beverage shop and got some Natty Bo's. I'm looking at my empties here. They're pretty. Natty Bo's. It's not that great.
It's good if it's really cold on a really hot day, which is hopefully for this situation we're in.
It's exactly like the inside of my house. So, for the sleeping Chris Knightsey, the alert Charlie Hoppus, I am the sweltering hot host. Dean, that's terrible. And restart.
No.
So.
No.
I'm not using that. There's no way I'm using that.
Use that. You got to use all this. Give the people reality, Dean. Show them that this is what it is behind the curtain.
I've hit pause like a couple times. All right, we'll just keep it. Whatever. My name's Dean Eastlake. We thank you, as always, for listening. From this point on, please remember to drink responsibly.
Something magic happens every time you go. Make the magic happen. Make the magic happen.